I've been seeing people taking this thing, they've been shouting, let me too shout, let me too shout, let me see how it is, you know. Yay! It is so great to have you on here. You're welcome. I'm clapping for you, yes. Thank you for joining us again on today's episode of this quarter's personal growth and development series. You're welcome. How has your day been? How has your week been? Hope it has been fantastic. So today we are talking about owning your magic. How to live life fearing less. Today's video was inspired by a follower on here who asked a question regarding this. I'll read it out shortly. And today's video is sponsored by my book, Another Story, Memoirs of a Kano or a Nigerian Copper, as seen on Okada Books. Okay, so this book is a documentary or a memoir about, it's not a documentary because it's not video, but yes, it is a written memoir about my adventures in northern Nigeria, Kano State, during my National Youth Service days. And it is a very funny, very hilarious, very easy to read and easy to relate book that is full of lessons, different lessons, life lessons. And I tell you, over 300 people have read this book, and this is what they have to say. This is the testimony that I get. Okay, so get yourself a copy. It is only available online now on the Okada Books platform, and you will not get to see the pictures in this online copy, sadly, you know, but you will get to see the amazing graphics by Osase Amadasun. Okay, so you will still have something alongside the stories. So it is one of a kind book. You will read it, but you will have illustrations to also help you, which makes it even funnier. So yeah, get the copy of the book. In today's before we start the topic today, I'm going to read something, a quote from the book that I'm going to use later on. Okay, don't mind the card in my hand. It's what I used to bookmark the book. So the quote is from Mary Kay Ash, a wonderful woman that I greatly admire. I admire that woman so much. Sorry about that. And the quote says, most people live and die with their music still inside. They never dare to try. I want you to think about it for a second. Most people live and die with their music still inside. They never dare to try. Okay, I don't know if it's most people that I would put. I would say many people live and die, you know, because with their music still inside, because they never dare to try. So yeah, back to the person that inspired this video. I can't mention, I don't know if I should mention her name, but here is the question very quickly. I wanted to ask, could you talk about fear sometime, of doing, even of dreaming? And then I'm like, what do you mean? I want to understand you better. And then she says, I guess for me, I'd like to understand why and how to move past the fear of taking a first step to dream and move on those dreams. It can be crippling, and sometimes, despite being aware and having all the head knowledge, that it is fear that's stopping you from moving. You know, that is basically the question. Fear stopping you from moving. I'm like, well, that is a very strong fear. That is a very serious fear, because it is stopping you from literally doing anything. Do not mind me, I'm trying to drop the book. And the first thing I said to her is that fear has both good and bad sides, and there's good fear. But when fear is so strong that it becomes an anchor that is holding you down from moving past it, then you have to address that fear. You have to face that fear, which is why I titled it, you know, having your best life, and irrespective of fear, you know, fearing less. I remember a quote, I think it's Mandela, that says, faith is not the absence of fear. Faith is doing things, taking actions in spite of fear. So how do you How do you move past fear? How do you take action in spite of fear? Please, can anybody suggest in the comment section below? That was the noise that came in. Please, can you help us by suggesting how you move past fear? I'll say for me, I first of all want to find out what exactly is this fear, because you have to analyze the fear. You have to face the fear. Children are back from school. You have to face the fear. You have to analyze what is this fear exactly, and that will help you, okay, from self-sabotaging yourself, because we do. When you arrive to a place that you'll be looking for a job there, you arrive at that place late, you know you are self-sabotaging yourself, and you for some reason. Or when you begin to procrastinate and you know that this thing is going to be beneficial to your future, you know that there's fear somewhere and you are self-sabotaging yourself because of this fear. So how do you move past it? Okay, so I'll tell you a quick story. There was a time I was applying for jobs and I knew I could give better at those interviews, but the truth is that I was afraid of the quality of work I would go to those companies and give. Meanwhile, life is all about learning, okay? You're not going there because you're the best person that they need there. You're going there because you believe you have something to offer, right? And you believe that you can learn something as well to improve yourself. So why not sell yourself? You know, a lot of HR, that is people who human resource personnel, say that there are lots of jobs available, but people that are competent enough to fill those roles, they don't find them. Or people will come and they actually have those qualifications, but they cannot sell themselves. They cannot speak about themselves. Why? Why do we do that to ourselves? Why? It's not fair. It's not fair. Fear should not be what will cripple you, okay? Let us take a hold of this fear thing. Let us take a hold of it. I think for me, number one thing that you should do is to sit down and analyze your fear. Okay, if it's a new business, why do you think you can't? Because according to this person, she has all the head knowledge, she has all the tool, but she fears moving forward. I think after we dialogued a little, I think it was also fear of what people will say. We'll talk about that one in a bit. Now, for someone that doesn't have head knowledge and you want to move into a new space, right? Why don't you start by doing your research? Spend time, do your research. Spend time, and thank God for resources online now. Resources online. You can find many things that will add to your knowledge on any topic that you want to delve into, or many topics that you want to delve into. Sit down and delve into those things. You don't even have to pay for a course, and if you have to pay for a course online to improve yourself or sharpen your skills in that area, why not do it? Why not do it? Research. That is my number one thing. I wanted to say prayer, but I don't want to sound religious. But the truth is that you pray about everything. You have to pray about everything. So number 0, pray. Now we go back. After researching, after you have all your tools at hand, after you know that you're prepared to enter into this thing, and you have weighed the options and the good outweigh the bad, and you've analyzed it, the next thing you should do, write down the worst possible outcomes. The worst things that can happen if you go into this thing. If you go into this relationship, what is the worst that can happen? Write it down. And to be honest, the devil will help you, because he will bring thoughts into your mind of the worst things that can happen. When you're done writing those down, accept the worst things that can happen. Drink water on it, and if it happens, as far as it will not kill you, that is one way. When you've seen finish the problem, that is one way. You've done your research, then you have now thought of the possible worst outcomes, number 2, and then the third thing is to see your worst possible outcome, see it finish. Okay, I'm going to Kano for NYSC, or I'm changing this job. Okay, I will not have food for a few months. Will I die? Will I die? No. Okay, no. So once you have seen the outcome finish, the next thing to do is to plan based on the worst possible outcomes. Yeah. But let me tell you something, you cannot plan finish. You cannot plan finish. You can't. But plan based on the worst possible outcomes. Write down what you will do to avoid those worst possible outcomes. For instance, you want to move to a new job, or you want to leave your current job, or you want to leave a current relationship or something. And you definitely know you have to save some money, Abby. You know. You have to save some money. Start saving some money. Write it down. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to save some money down so that I will not starve to death. At least if I have food, what is this? Apologies for that. At least if I have food, I'm good to go. Just write down, plan based on those things, and then know that the journey is going to be like a roller coaster. And I'm going to give you, I've taken a ride before in something like a roller coaster. So when you are about to enter into a roller coaster, that noise has spoiled my mood small. I hope you can notice, but just manage. Sorry. You buckle your belt and you sit down. You're like, okay, I've been seeing people taking this thing, they've been shouting. Let me too shout, let me see how it is, you know. Well, that's just it. Let me to have this fun, you know. As far as you enter inside, that is most important. It's not like you're seeing people shouting. You're not like, hey, I don't want to shout though. I don't want to have an attack. Oh, I'm not going to enter this thing. Oh, take the first step. Enter inside first. After all those planning, take a first step towards it. We have several docu-series here. I don't know what else to call it except for that. We have several talks that we have done on here on how to achieve your goals, how to even plan, how to make goals. You know, I said plan based on the worst possible outcome. Okay, just go and watch some videos. I'm sure they will inspire you on how to plan. Okay, when you have entered into that roller coaster, when you have started that journey, you have to start it. You have to do something to start. You have to invest something. You have to make a move. You have to. Don't just sit back. The way to counter fear, number 5, make a move. Make a move. Tell somebody about it. Start a course on it. Do something, and always make an input towards that thing as often as you can. If you can put a routine to it daily, you do it. So you enter into that roller coaster thing now, and then you tighten your belt. You sit down, balanced. Then they say remove your glasses, and you're like, what is happening here? Is it that bad? Or they'll say we'll put one thing over your glasses so that it will not fall off your head, because you're like, I want to see everything that is happening. But they say you can't go with these dangling earrings, or you have to remove it so that it will not tear your ear. You're like, you can't go with your so phones, or you can't go with any keys, or because you will misplace it on the way. So you have to also go into all those things light. You get. Start with what you have. It's good if you have all the money in the world, but they always advise, especially for business, start small. Start small. Oh, do your research well, but start small. Me, that I went to do photography business, you don't have to buy all the gear to start it. You need good gear. Ask. Make sure you ask. Make it. Research is very important. That's why it's number 1. Know what you're doing, but don't go and buy everything. Start small, okay? Go light. When you're on the roller coaster, sit down, balance. So now start moving small. You're like, okay, this is still good, this is still nice. Before you know it, you just do one, and that's just the beginning of the drop, going up, going down, the going up, the going down, the excitement. When you're inside it, you're like, Jesus, if I can come out of this roller coaster alive, I will serve you for the rest of my days. I will never do this again. I will shake in the car. The joy is in those rides, so enjoy it while it lasts. That is why you cannot plan finish for something, because there are things that you cannot plan. You cannot plan finish. But that is the joy. The journey is the joy. For your external families, for your friends, for those people that you are afraid, and I said we'll talk about it in a bit. That's the last thing that we're going to talk about. Those people that you're afraid to include, offend, or seem somehow to, when they see the end result, it's for them. That one is for them. But your own, what is for you, is the journey. Because when you finish from that ride and you've achieved it, you have it to your name, baby girl. You have it to your name, Bobo. You have it to your name. But you are the one that will now say, I want to go on that ride again. And if you have the money, of course, you can start over. If you have the resources, if you have everything, or you can go into an upgrade, because there are different, especially if you go to a really cool amusement park, there are different rides. You can venture into something else. Okay? I hope that analogy makes sense. Getting into anything new, basically, is fun, is what I'm saying. It's fun. So have that in mind. And there's this scripture that says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. It's not as if fear is not there, but at least he's walking in the valley of the shadow of death. It's that walking that led him to the table that God laid before him. Okay, that is just my own analogy. But you get what I mean. You get what I mean. So I want to talk about the different fears that we can have and how to surmount them. I've talked in general already about what you should do concerning those fears, and I sincerely hope that you understand it. So these are the different fears that we can have. A fear of shame or embarrassment. This one I can relate with, because even when I was applying for that job that I told you that, it was a fear of shame of, oh, what will they say? This girl finished with a first class. This so happened, and then she's not that adequate. A fear of shame, of embarrassment. Even when I was moving to Port Harcourt and I wanted to venture into photography aside from architecture, I was actually a bit fearful of what my former colleagues might say, or what people that had known me might say. They say, oh, this girl, she's not doing too much, of which some people actually came and said that to my face. But I'm like, girl, live your own best life. You're here on purpose. You're here on a different assignment, and the only person that you should leave your glory to, or you should live for his glory, is God, not even your parents or your friends, because God created you for his glory. It's not the other way around. God was not just created to serve us or our purposes, which he does. He's a loving father, but we were created, he created us for his glory. So my dear, don't look at anybody's face. Don't look at Uche's face. Live your life. Live your best life. I have a family, a relative, a distant relative, that is afraid of many things, and literally lives in his house, in his comfort zone, afraid. Eventually he had to step out, but even with that, he's a very intelligent human being, but he's afraid to fly. So he doesn't go too far from his house. He's afraid to, in terms of work, he's afraid to fly in the sky, like take a plane. He's afraid to do many things I can't even say. Afraid of humans sometimes. You see, if you live your life like that, you're not going to live it at its best, and that is not what God intends for you. God intends for you to live life to the fullest at every point. And how do you know you're living life maximally? It's by taking those chances that pump your adrenaline, because that is what fear does. And as I say, fear can be good. When those adrenaline things are pumping, it's bringing through, I think it's 4 trauma responses. What are they? You guys know them. Flight, whether you should run for your dear life, and in some situations that is the action that you need to take, that you are afraid of taking, or you need to fight, which is for you to stay and face that thing, or for you to fawn, to hide. That is not sometimes that is not the response that you need to take, but sometimes it's just away. And it can be freeze. I think freeze is the terrible one, Because when danger is coming and you're freezing, or when something good is coming and you're freezing and you're just stuck, you can't move, you can't do anything, you're paralyzed because you can't face it. And there's a quote also that says, it is the resistance to face fear that is the worst, and that brings the worst in people. You know, the resistance to face fear, that is the true paralyzer, that is the true killer. So my dear, my brother, my sister, my advice is analyze that fear, face it. There is a fear of rejection. I told you people in that video, some of you want to write book this year, eh? You say you don't have time, you'll be self-sabotaging yourself. You don't have money, you don't have, you're not from the background, the educational background, brother, sister, go on, just go and watch my video on 10 tips on publishing your book in Nigeria, self-publishing your book in Nigeria. There's nothing that you cannot do in this life. Just start small. You want to own something, except it is massively big and you can trust God for it. But if it's something that you know you can do, start it. Just start. Some people have a fear of failure. What will happen afterwards? We have addressed that. Some people have a fear of losing money, losing time, losing sleep. You cannot achieve some things if you don't lose things. So you cannot be afraid to invest in a business that you know that will yield return for you later. You cannot be afraid to invest in yourself. See, I don't want to take more of your time, and I hope that you understand what I am saying. I hope that I've spoken to you from my heart, and yeah, please, fearless, faith more, live in courage, own your life, own your personality. People may think you're awkward. Don't be afraid to lose people. The real people will stay with you. The true ones will stay with you. Don't be afraid to lose money. It will come back to you. Don't be afraid to lose time, even though it is a valuable resource. If it is invested well, it will yield back to you in multiple returns. Don't live in fear, basically. Okay? I hope that with these few points of mine, I have been able to encourage you and not to demotivate you. That you should get off your butt and do something. Okay? I love you so much. Please leave your own comments below. Let me understand how you tackle this. Let me understand if I talked about this topic well, if you understand it. And yeah, I'm trying to shorten it. It is kind of like a complex topic, but God help you and help us all. Love you. Bye. Mwah. See you next 2 weeks. Remember to like, to subscribe, to share. Please now, subscribe now. Invite your friends to come and watch now. Or don't you enjoy me? Love you. Bye.